Hi, I'm Jerry Ford, and welcome to the November 2024 edition of the Mug Rug of the Month Club. This month, we're going to make this really cute maple leaf applique design, and you can do it one of two ways. You can do it the way that you see on the left, which is traditional applique, or the one on the right is featuring a technique that I call the confetti technique. This technique was originally done about 15-20 years ago, and I originally saw it in the Anita Good Designs. They did a lot of confetti designs, and it's a really, really cute technique. So let's get started. In order to make this beautiful confetti leaf mug rug, I'm going to need my 5x7 hoop, and I am using just a tearaway stabilizer, but you could use no-show mesh or really any stabilizer that you have. Okay, it's got to fit your hoop. Okay, I'm going to use this as my background fabric, so it's got, at least 5x7 piece that'll fit inside your hoop. That's going to be the base of your mug rug. This mug rug measures out to be about 5 inches by 5 inches, so anything bigger than that will be fine. You're going to need some batting. Just a scrap of batting will do, and that's going to go underneath here, of course. I'm going to use this as the base applique fabric for my leaf. So I just need about a 4-inch by 4-inch piece of this to go over top. Then you're going to be putting all your confetti bits on top of this green base fabric for the applique. And I've got a little bit of brown. Remember, you can use both sides. So if this is too dark, you could possibly turn it over and have it lighter if you like. I'm using some of this, mauve color, leaf colors, things you see in leaves. Gold, a light gold, some orange, a little bit of everything. And you could also put in Angelina fibers, a fancy glittery stuff, bits of ribbon, you name it, you can put it in there. So to keep all that in, I'm going to be using bridal tooling. You just get it on the roll, you don't need a lot of it. If you don't want to invest in a bunch of these colors, I'm using orange because that's what I have. It's really not going to show all that much anyway. But if you're only going to get one, get black. Black doesn't show through. It actually mutes some of the colors underneath, but that's about it. For the backing, you can either use 2 pieces of 7x7-inch squares and then fold them in half, so that you have 2 of them. This is for the back of the mug rug. Instead, I'm using 2 4x7-inch pieces of fabric, and along this long edge, I just simply folded it over and stitched it down. That way I have less bulk. Instead of just batting, if you want it to be heat insulating, then use a piece of Insulbrite instead of the batting. That will be fine too. For the thread, I'm going to use ordinary bobbin thread in the bobbin, and in the needle I've selected this Twister Tweed. It's made by Robus and Anton. It's a 2-color variation. It's going to look like little speckles, and it's a light and dark, like a moss green, that kind of matches this background fabric. Okay, let's get started. I've loaded the design. I have hooped just the stabilizer. I've got white bobbin thread in the bobbin, and I'm going to be using this green variegated for everything, just the way you can see it. And now the first is going to give me the outline for the batting. And next I'm going to cover the stitching. This is the placement for the batting, but follow the pattern that you're using. Okay, and there we go. All right, lay it down and do the second color stop, and that's going to tack down my batting. Okay, I'm going to take the hoop out of the machine, and I'm going to trim all of this excess batting from outside of the seam. That way it won't show up in the seam allowance, won't add bulk to it. And of course, I could be using Insulbrite here as well. Okay, so I will be back when I cut this out. Okay, I have trimmed away the batting from outside of the seam line. Put it back in the machine. I'm going to put my mug rug background fabric on top so it overlaps over top of the stitching by at least 1/4 of an inch, preferably 1/2 inch. So then I'm going to stitch the next color stop, and it's going to tack down this fabric. This is not only tacked it down, but it's also the same color stop if you're doing the mug rug. It's going to be giving you the outline for the leaf. Now, you have a choice here. I can let the gold show through if I like through the confetti method, which is the background fabric. But no, I want this to be covered in green so that the green shows through. So I'm going to do this next color stop, which is going to tack down the green for the applique. I'm going to put it on so that it covers all of the fabric, and tack down the leaf fabric. Okay, now if you were skipping the background fabric, you could just skip this color stop totally. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to carefully trim away the stitching from this background fabric. Didn't want to do the confetti method. You could just continue on stitching and just have this as a simple applique. But let's turn this into the confetti. I found some little Angelina fibers. They're gold and red, and I'll just throw those in there too somewhere. And I'm going to just now take my confetti bits, and batiks are great to use because you don't need lots of it. I really don't need much of this, just little scraps. Nice sharp pair of scissors, and just cut. For batik, I'm just going to cut little bits like that. Okay, and this will give me some interesting background fabric, sort of like leaves look. Okay, and the gold. Now this is directional. And I'm just going to cut up a bunch of these to make confetti. I'm going to keep these that I have to flip over on one side, and these I can just mix them all up. You can make little circles, just little scraps. Okay, I think I've got enough here. So now I have all these little bits all cut up. You might want to take a little bit of tweezers, especially on these that are one-sided, in order to place them down. I'm usually not going to care. So I'm going to take some of these and place them around. I'm not worried about whether they're in the lines or not. I've got some of these Angelina fibers, the little gold and silver. I'm just going to throw these in there. Cut them as small or as big as you like, pieces of ribbon, whatever. Now these that are two-sided, I'm probably just going to place those in here somewhere. Put some more stuff on top of it. Here's some green and brown. You know what? I'm not going to care. I'm just going to, so that it mostly covers everything. If I see any of the backs of fabrics, I'll flip them around. There's some brown. You can place them if you like. I'm not. I'm just going to be random about it. Use a pair of tweezers to move things around. Fill in the gaps. Okay, when you have it like you like it, and I'm going to take a piece of the bridle tooling, put the bridle tooling over the top, and now I'm going to do the next color stop, which is going to tack down all of this stuff. And I'm just going to hold it in place because some of this is sticking out. Hold it out. There we go. Okay. You can trim this away right now. I'm not going to. Okay, now on this one, this is going to do all of the inside branch work. Now is the time I'm going to take this out. I'm going to trim all of the tooling and these little bits away from this outer stitching, and I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, here it is all trimmed up. You've got the confetti fabrics as well as the Angelina fibers and the tooling on the top. So I'm going to put this back in the machine and I'm going to do the last of the applique. Okay, now I'm going to finish up the leaf. Okay, I'll continue this off camera. This is going to take about 10 minutes. Okay, here it is all finished. I did switch to a solid green. That twisted tweed looked an awful lot like the bobbin thread was coming up to the top, so I just switched to the solid green to do this last set of outlines, and I think that looks better. Okay, so now this is done. So we're ready to go ahead and put the backing on and do the last stitch for this mug rug. I've got my two pieces here. I'm going to put the fabric right sides together. The folds again right sides together. Doesn't matter which one is on the top. And I want that to go, overlap about an inch, maybe a little less. About an inch is good. So it overlap. Now I'll put that in. I put white thread in the needle. I could tape this down right here using the painter's tape, but since I have a baby lock, that is not necessary. I'm going to let it do the walking feature. Okay, so I'm going to let this start to stitch until it gets here, or the other way. Okay, I'm going to stop it, go very slowly, hold down the button till I know that it's cleared that ridge, and it did. Okay, I'll let that go till I get to the other side. Stop. Okay, I'm going to hold this down and keep my finger on the button. Stop. I raised the presser foot, made sure the fabric cleared, and I'm going to hold it in till it clears. Okay, we're good, and let it finish. Okay, I'm going to make sure it doesn't flip. Again, it's coming back. And it didn't flip, so we're good. Okay, it's good, so I can continue. Covered. Okay, we're all finished. I'm going to take the hoop out of the machine and take the fabric out of the hoop. I'm going to trim 1/4 of an inch all the way around, clip my curves or use a pinking shear on the curves here, and flip it right side out. Okay, here it is all trimmed up, so I'm going to turn it right sides out. Okay, and then I'm going to use a point turner and trim it away. Okay, all finished. Looks really nice. I like the way the Angelina fibers sparkle, and you're not going to really get that if you use a regular applique fabric. So actually, I did it again using just a batik applique fabric without the confetti effect, and I really like the way that looks too. Although I prefer this one, it's got a little bit more bling to it. Okay, if you have any questions, then feel free to email me at waltzquilt@yahoo.com. If you'd like to become a member of our Mug Rug of the Month Club, if you don't want to miss any of our future month's designs. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can know when I've uploaded a new video. Until next time, bye.